If you're starting to create content for a blog, a YouTube or TikTok channel, or even a social media page, you might have heard the advice that you need to focus your content in order to build your audience. Why is this? Isn't focus going to be excluding other people? Hi, I'm Jesse. I help scientists communicate their research more effectively through lessons in science writing and science marketing. This video is going to be kind of for anybody, but it has some particular science lessons in there as well for science creators. People are often afraid of focus because they want to make their content as appealing as possible to as many people as possible. By focusing your content, you are therefore making it less appealing to certain groups of people, of course. But this is a mistake for three separate reasons. First is about attention. Imagine you're driving down the highway in rural North America somewhere. There's just hundreds of cows that you see on the side of the road, but you don't really actually see them. You don't really notice them because, you've seen cows before. They're just, part of the landscape at this point. So you're driving along until you notice a purple cow. There's one just in the crowd, but you pull off, you go over and to check it out because oh my goodness, it's a purple cow. I've never seen a purple cow before. And now this cow has your full attention. And this is a story that's sort of derived from Seth Godin, who basically says that there is a huge number of options that consumers have these days that are trying to get their attention in various ways, but the majority of them sort of just blend in. You don't really notice them in any capacity. You need to be a purple cow in order to stand out, in order to even get somebody's attention, to have an opportunity to attract a sale, talking about specifically about selling. But this applies for content creation as well. Unless you have a clear proposition, a clear vision of what makes you special, it's very hard to attract attention and attract an audience who really will see hey, that's something that's interesting that I want. You can imagine something with a purple cow. Some people would really like purple cows, some people might really hate purple cows, but you would rather have a small group of people who really love purple cows than just be an anonymous cow which has no following whatsoever. I'm going to tell you another story in order to cover another couple of lessons. You're walking on the street someplace close to where you work and you're thinking about getting lunch, and you notice a new restaurant that looks like this beautiful cafe that you've never seen before. It has these lovely looking fresh salads and a really reasonable menu, a great selection of exotic teas. You go in, you have a wonderful lunch, you feel energized, you feel everything that you want. After a lunch like this, you go back to work and you have a very productive rest of your day. The next day, you're like, I want to run that back. I want to get another one of those sandwiches and another one of those salads. So you head back to that restaurant. But when you show up, it is now a Texas-style bar and grill. Not exactly what you want. I mean, you like that kind of food, maybe not for lunch on a work day, but, go give it a try. It was good yesterday. So you go in. It's fine. It wasn't really what you wanted. You overpaid compared to what you were hoping for, but it's kind of okay. The next day, you come back again, hoping that it has switched back into cafe mode, but now it is in Chinese buffet mode. For some reason, apparently the chef has a short attention span, but when you look at the menu, it just doesn't do anything for you, so you decide to just go somewhere else today. Eventually, you stop going to this restaurant because you just really don't know what to expect. You going there with a particular interest, a particular appetite, and they're really not delivering that to you consistently. This is important for content building as an idea of building an audience. You really need to be delivering something consistent on a particular theme. It doesn't need to be the exact same thing every time. You can imagine the cafe has different ranges of salads, different ranges of specials in order to keep things fresh and new to some degree, but it has to be within a particular theme so that people at least know what to expect when they're going there. This also relates to skill building. In the story that I shared, obviously the chef doesn't have a very long attention span, and they're probably good at making food, but it's really hard to master all of these different kinds of food. There's just so much to learn, so much to change up about the way you're thinking, and if you're doing this as just a way to learn stuff, you can do that at home, but when you're trying to really build something and grow both as a creator, but then also as a business, having that focus and honing in on a particular set of skills and set of knowledge, and using that and then maximizing its impact, that's where you really have the maximum, impact in what you're doing. This is particularly important in science writing. Science content is, by its very nature, very dense and has a lot of depth to it. And if you want to appeal to people who are skilled in a given area, you really have to master a lot of the background there. It doesn't mean that you have to have a PhD in the area, but you really do have to be committed to making sure that you understand what's going on. Because if you're jumping around between a lot of different topics, you either have to spend an incredible amount of time researching them in depth, or you have to be covering each of them only an inch thick, like just the bare surface of it. And both of those have a lot of problems to it. If you're able to focus, you're able to offer a lot of value, but without having to do additional research every time of understanding the basics and understanding the background. You can focus in on learning a few new things every day and delivering that in a package that is coherent with everything else that you know, rather than trying to totally relearn everything every other day.